year-end process was done, that Ricardo maybe missed something and it didn't
It's been a problem for a while, so.
perform correctly, or, but I'll, I just want to let you know that I'm checking into that as well, so. And just the only other thing is, Julie and I with, to educate the staff on trying to be more cognizant of the cover counts, making sure that they're getting those in, especially where we really seem to lack them is on the events and the banquets. So it's an education process with the team. So
Well, it's not just there, like I mentioned to you when we met, to-go orders, $0.
yeah, I mentioned that last month.
Zero. I mean, in November, we had 100th Thanksgiving, $0. We have people, covers and sales for breakfast in Wasala and Tiki Bar. We don't serve breakfast at Wasala and Tiki Bar.
That's just a timing issue. Jonas is picking up the time of day, so it's automatically put, if it's before noon, it puts it in breakfast. We don't
Okay.
know.
Well, but that means, okay, and I'm not saying it's their fault, but.
No, we're just
Yeah.
rolling it into lunch.
Right.
Look at reports.
But I agree, to go is
But
important,
the
especially.
to-go
with
is-
sifting
Yeah,
starts.
we
Yeah.
To-go
Should be a separate category. It was set up that way.
Yeah,
It is, we just.
Like
need to-
employee meals, I mean, we understand the
Yes.
separate categories, that's what Melissa's helping us to figure out where the disconnect is on the
Well,
report.
if you look at the
There's
chart of
employee
accounts,
meals
it's
to
supposed to
go.
be set up that way.
And then,
It's just not getting recorded there.
you know, a third of our sales, depending upon the month, go into not specified, which are member events, private events, or whatever events. But we don't know what those events are. We don't know if it's one event, 2 events, 30 events making up that month. And also, it's important to know if an event is overriding lunch service. So if we have a Wednesday event here, that's now event, private event, is taking away from our lunch revenue, but we don't know those things because we can't determine it. So we have to have a much better way of reporting of what's happening, because we're gonna come back next month, or more importantly, next year, and say, wait a minute, we did, our sales this year for lunch are great, but then we have no other, not specified member party revenue.
There's another report that has it by day, and I was getting those from Therese, and then issuing a covers report that was day of the week and meal.
Right.
And I'm behind on that, because I've just.
But we should also know if there's an event going on those days too. That's why, it's good to know if we're only showing $17 of sales for lunch, was it because we had, and that was a little salad, and we have an event?
I don't know that we
in the
need
day?
to analyze every lunch, Rich. I think that's their job.
No, I'm not saying analyze the lunch, I'm saying, but we need to know where sales are. If we're looking at these things going forward, we have to have reports that show us where things are, so we can come back and do proper budgeting. Because if a lot of our business was for a couple of events, we can't necessarily guarantee we're gonna get those events again. So we need to understand, is it core resident business? Is it specialty business?
Well, I think from my perspective, the other aspect, I know I've talked to both you and Julie and Melissa about this, is that ultimately, if we are doing special stuff, is it offsetting our fixed costs at all? Or is it purely just whatever appears on the bottom line?
Well, as we get the pro forma P&Ls, which they're gonna try to do,
Yeah,
we'll know that.
yeah.
And in terms of a lunch, when you aggregate it over 365 days, it's not gonna be meaningful. It's just a lot of effort to go into. I don't know what analysis you would do that on the third Wednesday of February, you had an event taking over lunch. We are getting covers by day of week and type of meal.
Okay, good.
I'll try to catch up on that. Actually, to remind Therese, she hasn't sent me a report in weeks.
And the last question is like, it'd be nice to know, is pasta night a special tonight? This, dining room dining,
It's regular dining.
okay. So private,
It's just considered, it's a theme, but it's
Okay.
regular.
So I actually have a question. Do you guys have the ability to break out
the events that happen in here from a staffing perspective. So we have an event in here that's from something that's, and I'm not picking on it. Let's say, for example, the CA has got their thing coming up, right? And they had an event last week. Do we have the ability to break out what that staffing cost is to do room setup and room tear down? I'm not suggesting that we charge for that or anything. I just would like to understand what the impact of that room setup is. Do we have a breakout on that?
For like a specific thing.
Like a specific thing, so like, for example, the CA had a special event here.
Right, well,
and
we have
then-
yes, we could give you, it's not gonna be a perfect breakout, it's, we can give you an idea that it took 4 people, an hour and a half each.
Okay,
To set it up. I
Okay.
talked about it in the last meeting, it was the same,
yes,
we have to, when you're analyzing the labor, we have to look at every single piece of labor.
Correct.
I mean, Rich, I understand you're saying, are people sitting around? I don't know if that's really a problem, in terms of we try and make sure about that. More often than not, it's maybe not enough, but we do have like everything costs money. So now
right, that's
CA,
it, yes.
we set up for the
Yes.
CA,
And then
okay?
you tear down,
So then we
I'm
have
not-
to reset up for
Right.
the Wednesday lunch,
right,
and I'll give you specifics. So we had a Wednesday lunch for 140 people. I had to have one and another person set it up on Tuesday because there would never been enough time Wednesday morning to do it. I mean, it's
So the
not a
only
perfect
reason-
science either.
Yeah,
So
I'm not
it wasn't
looking-
like F&B labor, though it probably could, it depends on where you want to put it.
right. So I'm just looking for something directional, a
Yeah.
ballpark of what that impact is and the impact to the financial statement. So you are gathering something like that.
Sure.
If we needed to, we could break that piece
And
out.
like, it wasn't always a conversation about this meeting as
Okay.
well. Why are we
Yeah.
doing the whole ballroom when there's,
Right.
10 people here? I mean,
Right.
it's not, unless
Right.
there was some big thing going on that you would anticipate a lot more attendees.
Yes,
This was a lot easier to set it up. We set this up yesterday. I mean, we set it up Saturday night, actually. We were
Sure.
setting it up so it was ready to go.
Okay.
So we can do that.
Julia,
I just have to tell you, it's a challenge what we're doing right now because we
No,
are busy,
I'm
we're in
not,
the middle
yeah.
of it. And the labor fluctuates. So if
Yeah.
I'm short a couple of people, we just have to figure it out we're doing that. So it gets a little like, but I can give you an idea, yeah. To set up the whole dining room,
Uh-huh.
it's, 4 people, 4 hours,
Mhm,
1 hour each, doing the whole
Okay.
dining room, and then the same breakdown. So if we said, hey, we have 10 meetings a year, that the value
Right.
of that is X amount of dollars, you average the wage, it's not like we pay them a higher wage to do it.
No, I
We're getting their
understand. Yes,
server
it's
wage,
just
which
an-
is typically associated. I mean, in some other world, you certainly could have people saying, I'm not do that. That's why hotels and stuff have housemen
right,
that do setups,
Mhm.
because they get paid a higher wage to do setups. We're just sneaking,
sneaking it in.
we're just
Yeah,
putting
I
it
would
in.
just like to understand at some point, and I'm not saying
Yeah.
we have to do this
No,
now
no.
by any stretch. I just would like to know the overall impact to our P&L for these setups and tear downs, for the special events.
that was done.
Oh, it was.
She's probably not gonna be able to find
A
it.
few years ago.
But about a year or
Okay.
2 ago, we talked about charging like the CA $100 for a setup. And I think at that time, you'll never find it. probably. Analysis was done to say, here's what it costs us for different types of
I think
events.
it's
Well,
more
are you referring to when Rudy did that analysis of, I mean, there
Put
was
in any
that,
number.
because
They come
in
and they go.
operations, that's a typical, thing where
Yeah.
people say,
It was done, is all I'm
Yeah.
saying, but
Yeah.
you're probably never gonna find it.
but we know it's not necessarily the groups that aren't budgeted or have dollars to have a room rental.
No, I understand, and like I said, I'm just looking for, I'm not looking for anything
You just want to
precise.
understand.
I would like to understand it, that's all.
I mean, and it's good to have, but I'd like to know, like we're doing brunch. I would like to have a better understanding of what the real food costs are and sales are for brunch, plus all the labor that goes into brunch, because obviously there's a lot of people in the kitchen, a lot of setup, and a lot of breakdown, and a lot of coordination for that. And I'm not saying we don't have to do it for every brunch, but we're doing 2 brunches. we should have that for 2 brunches, so we can get average, so we can decide if $22.95 is the right price, where we're
I'm with
going.
ya.
Do we want to increase it? Do we want to decrease it? But at least we should have an overall understanding from brunches and a few, and I know we do pasta nights a lot. We should have a breakdown for pasta night. What does a pasta night cost us? Things that we do routinely, repetitively, we should have that cost, so we know that if we're gonna run them a lot, we're gonna make a lot of money, or we're gonna break even a lot, or we're gonna lose a lot of money. But as a board, we should understand some of those decisions.
Right, how to
As opposed-
decide
yeah.
what to do.
Exactly.
Understood.
I will tell you, the last
Okay,
time
what do
we
you-
priced it out,
yeah.
when we talked about summer breakfast, the number we were looking at to break even on brunch was north of 30.
Yeah.
So 22, we're gonna lose money at 22.
Yeah, we're gonna
Well,
get a lot of money
that's-
on that one.
Well, then, I would,
Okay.
but I would really like to see that number, so then as a board, we can decide, you know.
Well,
did.
we
We
should
decided to
review
stop
that
having
again,
brunches.
but that's why we stopped having brunches.
Now all of a
because
sudden, they're back in.
Well, okay, well, I think just to be reasonable, in order to, there was always a break even, nothing had changed with the break even, then it's decided to do à la carte, okay. In order to facilitate, you know, we're doing these 2 brunches, the first Sunday of March and April. March is sold out, we have 180 people. I will be here from start to finish myself. I will guarantee you, we will absolutely have what the cost is. And I'm gonna tell you that one, I'm 110% confident that that is going to be definitely a positive thing. Again, and that might be the way to look at it. So if we have March 2nd and April 6th, if both of them theoretically have 180 people, maybe then that is a decision for next fall. I never will believe in the summer that you will ever get close to it. The break even is 89. I've been here many days in the summer, and you know, the most you might get is 60, 70, but that's the average. So again, my recommendation is not to do buffet brunch in the summer ever. However, if there's some way to negotiate to make sure the residents are happy, because we did have many, many residents unhappy we weren't doing it. And I think it shows, and they all booked at once, and we have 180 and it's sold out. So they spoke, we're hoping, you know, we will give you that information from this Sunday. So this Sunday's 180. I don't have the figure for the 6th yet, but I will let you know on that one.
Okay, that'd be great
just-
to know, so we can figure out, like I said,
Absolutely.
next year, and
Yes, sir. And then also, okay, so, all right, so the sales. So we've, you know, have had some great days here, great sales. Saturday night, we had the murder mystery. We had 124. It was sold out because you can only have a certain amount of people when you do a murder mystery. Very well received. I think it was very well received. Saw a lot of people I don't think I've ever actually seen before. And that was probably 50%. So I think it was, and it was just a different group of people. So I think, again, that speaks, and hopefully in the survey, we see that more, that people take the survey a little more like, I'm not gonna say seriously, but a little more like to help give guidance. Because I think that showed Saturday, just the one event, it might just be one event, but that people don't always want the music thing, you know, like they like some other kinds of things, right? So I think that's good to know from that. With the labor, because we're taking it very seriously on costing all the schedules and making sure the staffing is correct in the different staffing areas. And Rich understood, you know, are some of the players the right players? And that's always a question. And that's always something we have to address. I have a new server start yesterday. I'm working, and then we just hired 2 new cooks. You might say, why do we need them? So we don't have to have overtime. And with the pizza program, it's an important part of being successful with that. And I know a couple of people on the board have spent hours with Chef going back and forth about everything. So you yourself should know that is why this is so hard. It's important. It's not just started and you know, carry on. So we do want to make sure that it's correct. Thanking Melissa that, you know, she's bringing Becky up to speed, which will be helpful to make sure that the stuff is in the right category. Yes, we had to go order. I don't know what happened in terms of how it was set up, but also at the moment, I don't have the bandwidth, and Melissa knows that, and that's why I appreciate her helping to actually figure it out, right? But we are, this week I have Steven, he's in the office right now, helping me all week to kind of really catch up on some stuff. So, I want to show that we hear you, but, I always take that, my priority certainly needs to be what's going on at the moment. And that's important because the team needs it. You can say get better people. Well, it's a lot easier said than done. I just know from being in the industry, you get a combination of people. We're trying to support people, team build, lead them, give them good direction. And then if that doesn't work out, we need to figure out how to change it. But again, we're a company, so we do have some rules we have to follow. And, please know that Florida being the right to work state is absolutely an easy thing to say again. But again, when you work for a corporation, it's not necessarily an easy route to take as well. You still have to follow a lot of parameters and things like that. So I do want you to know that. I talked with some of the different board members and trying to figure out, Melissa's helping me with preparing some budget numbers for expenses, so we can have some of that, what's historically been 2 years, last year, some of those types of things. But then with some of the board talking about different elements of what the labor is gonna look like. Melissa has some labor sheets that she's gonna help me with, better labor sheets than we were able to use last year. But then we have to determine kind of the route the board is thinking we can take operationally, because obviously that's gonna be important in how we do the labor, right? So whatever we decide, and you guys know what we're talking about and all the different elements, we have to figure out where to go with that. So I do want you to know that. Melissa mentioned the city of Venice, so I have to ask Keith today to get an irrigation analysis, because we feel that the water is creeping up and it's all in the irrigation side, because they're able to view it like that, the city of Venice. I talked to the rep the other day, so I just wanted you to.
Now,
let
that's,
you know
that's
that.
not irrigation that
Right,
we provide,
right, no,
okay,
Yeah.
because it's palatable water, it's too close to the.
so yeah,
It might be the tennis courts,
Yeah.
because that's potable water, it has to be.
right.
Just for-
So that's why we're
Yeah.
looking,
Yeah.
trying to delve into that as well.
Yep. Like
So, yeah, that's where we're at.
And I completely understand that, you definitely want to ramp up labor in advance of sales, because obviously if you have sales and you don't have the labor, people get pissed off and service sucks, they don't come back. And I'm completely supportive of everything you're doing. I'm trying my hardest to do whatever I can to help. I'm just want to make sure that it's on record. It's really a Vesta issue. I know we've had a lot of challenges here with management, and I know you guys are doing your best, but we're paying Vesta for the service. And, we had Jeff, Andrew got, and Bernard and whatever, and you filled it admirably, but Vesta needs to step up, and now with Steve being here is helpful, but that should have happened a long time ago. I mean, with all the turnover and churn we've had, we need help to make sure things get done right. And I think we deserve that. And so, and again, not you, that's a Vesta.
Well, I just, maybe I haven't been verbal enough to make sure everyone knows Vesta, has stepped up plenty of times, because you don't really see it from that element of it. But I can reach out to anyone and get any support at any time. For example, we don't have anyone here, doing some of the other stuff. They're not here, but I call them, I'm like, hey, I need you to do this, I need you to do that. So I do understand, but I do want you to know that, because maybe I'm guilty of not verbalizing it out. I want you to think, they got it, they've got our back. Ever since December 27th, I haven't gone to any other of my locations. Basically, I don't talk to any of my other people, maybe once or twice, but truly Vesta has supported that from Stephen and then the rest of the vice presidents and management. So I do want you to know that. I just fell in here because of my background from helping here for the past 3 years, and basically my background in general, which is F&B. So that's why, but I do want you to know, and as I carry on, this is why I have Stephen here all week supporting me, because, I need some other stuff to get done, some of the stuff like talking with Melissa, like Jonas, where are we coding stuff? We have a appointment this afternoon with them over the phone, just to make sure, so when we come to the budget and you guys didn't code it right, okay, we'll figure it out, get it corrected, so now we have the correct information to use to make decisions, because I get it. You can't make decisions if you don't know blank.
Right.
Like, I don't think we're gonna make $1 million on the employee meal, but hey, now we're not spending it, what are they buying it for? We should know that, right? And we truly understand that. Again, I will look at anyone and tell them, look, I have to prioritize what's at the moment, because I know how that can go downhill in a minute. So yesterday, walking out by the pool, I saw a couple things, I'm like, gosh, no one told me that, not that you guys are supposed to tell me, but you guys usually say a lot of stuff. So I'm with Keith and I'm like, no, we gotta, do this, do that, the other thing. Again, I just want you to know we absolutely are, and I should say it more, I kind of am not that person to wanna brag about everything, but all I know is my teammates, my people that I've worked with Vesta, I can go to them for anything I need. So I do want you to know we are trying to push with that, but I appreciate that.
And I want to second that, because when it came to Jonas and some of the issues that ADA compliant, pulling people in and resources in, I've seen it.
Sorry, I forgot about that. The website, it's Wednesday. Because people don't like change, and when the reservation thing, though I've only heard good things about some of the people, so on our end it's a little harder, but on the front end, it seems like it's gonna be a little more user-friendly, so I don't know if you agree with that, Cindy.
Yes, I agree with that, and I agree with you 100%. We're not in, it's not a system, no, and like you said, the change, I think we just need to be patient. It's a very functional, well-designed website, and we just need to be patient with getting people used to it and comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Like everything.
Like everything, yes, exactly.
But like I said, I just brought this up, because like I said, I'm just looking at the cover reports, which have been 3 months now, they're not right. I mean, and somebody should have picked that up.
Understood.
A couple of things to Julie, I just want to say thank you, because I wasn't attacked by the pots in front when I came.
Yeah, how about that?
I'm
Yeah.
like, and they look nice,
Good
and
job.
thank you for
Yeah.
fixing the pots up
Thank
there.
you for
I
fixing
really
the pots,
appreciate
yes.
it.
It's probably gone.
And actually from discussions, I appreciate the fact that you've got a lot more events going on. And I know that's taxing,
Yes.
but it's what we wanted and it's what's in the budget. And so I appreciate you moving toward that. And my last question is just really quick, which is what's the date for pizza?
I was gonna say that. So talk about game night and pizza.
Yeah,
But which one?
Game night and pizza, because they're coming
Mondays
up.
and
Okay,
Tuesdays.
yeah, let's talk about that. Okay,
They're looking
so
out for you.
again, and you know what, I think it's important to know, another reaction from residents, right? Not from you guys, not from maybe committee, give some insight, but really truly resident. So there was an issue about the loud game things at dinner time, no one okay, you remember that, now this is
Yeah.
a year.
It's been going on for a
Yeah,
while.
yeah, right. So one of the solved thing is, hey, for the month of March, I want to call it March Madness, no one likes that. But for the month of March, from Monday and Tuesday, we're gonna do game night. It's from 4 to 8. It's gonna be called, we've already put out the advertising, casual club night. You can reserve tables for games. I believe, don't quote me, but I believe it's either 2 or 4, I can't remember. But these are for some of the games that are louder, like, Bunko, Euchre, Farkle. It could be blackjack. I mean, it could be any game you and your friends want to come and, hang out, and we'll still have the dress code, like no ripped jeans, but, it's kind of, we're calling it casual, so people understand if you don't want to see anyone in jeans, probably not the night to come, or, it's going to be like more fun. The lights will be up, kind of like a more fun atmosphere. So that's Monday and Tuesday for the month of March. As that progresses, we really have to determine the business based on how it goes. So I mean, if it's well received, and again, what's the break even? So I know I'm gonna be here myself. So that takes one person away, and then we're gonna have limited staff. I mean, yes, it's a, and it's salary people. I'm gonna be here, chef's gonna be here, so I
So
want you
it's
to know.
soup,
Okay,
salad, and pizza, right? Soup,
yes,
salad,
pizza and salad bar.
Right.
Right, so salad bar, right? I might ask one of you to help. It's not like it's brain surgery, maybe not the pizza, right? But so, using it as a limited labor thing, right? Because it kind of is limited, you don't have a bunch, that doesn't require a bunch of labor. And see how it goes. And so that's the game night coming up for March. We're really excited about it because again, I think it's bringing something to the people who spoke. So you spoke about it, now I hope they come because I'll be the first, you guys, come
Yeah.
on, please come because we want to make sure, and it'll be its own, Melissa, help me out here, but its own like sales code, right? It's whatever, it's casual club night, salad bar, so you can come and just get salad and soup, for whatever that price is, or you can order a pizza. Or you can have both, and you can take the rest home and, whatever thing like that, but it'll be categorized as its own entity. So after the first week, you could say, hey, what'd you do for that casual club night Monday? What'd you do for Tuesday? Because what I told the team, and I need to give credit to the team, I mean, because yes, they're gonna make more money, but on the same token, they're used to being off Monday and Tuesday. So trust me, it wasn't, but, team, we're doing this, we wanna respond to our needs, but we're going from there. But that was the thing, we're working with our recruiting, like, go ahead, sorry, yes, sir.
Does that be constant? You said even though you're working, the chef's working your salary, you guys can't work 7 nights a week. So you should put some level of a cost in there, because if chef is working Monday, Tuesday, making pizza, he's not here some other nights instead. So that means you're gonna have to have a temporary, somebody else filling in, theoretically, I would think. I mean, I don't know how you, I don't know how to get staff.
Yeah, I
Okay.
understand what you're
And same for
saying,
you,
but,
you know,
but to start with,
okay.
you gotta start programs with the people that could do multiple things.
Oh, no.
Because otherwise, and I understand what
No,
you're saying.
I'm not saying not using chef, I'm just saying that you have to think about the chef as a cost and you as a cost working that night, because you can't, if we're open 7 nights a week, that means we're gonna fill more people in here.
Right. Well, I guess when I say the word cost, like it's not adding a cost,
It's not a
right? We're
variable.
already
It's
getting
not a
paid
variable.
anyway.
Right, exactly.
So like chef, I'll give you an example. Like on Saturday, he left early because he knows what's coming up. And we have a busy week. We've got March 1st, we've got this other thing, we got this other event, the burger night's the fun night, fish night. So we have a busy week. And then the brunch on Sunday with 180, it is absolutely a busy week. So he knows ahead. So like Saturday, he left early and he knows I'm always trying to be fair as well, because I don't need to burn him out. I don't need to lose him.
Exactly.
But I guess I'm just trying to say, like, salary people, I've got Steven that's helping me because
Julie,
that
excuse me.
doesn't really
Julie?
cost you.
Time out. Dragging this out.
Yeah.
You just run the business.
Yeah.
All right, sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, so thanks you guys. Does anyone have anything else for me? Okay, well, we are trying to run the business. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
guys.
you.
Run it by yourself.
Thank you.
Before we move on, it's 11:05, does anybody need a break?
Yes.
Break? Okay, we're gonna take a 10-minute break at 11:05. Ready?
I can't go out with white.
Ready?
Ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you could take your seats, we're about to get started. Okay, and we are back on the record at 11:17 a.m. Keith, do you have anything to report?
You know, few little things. I'll wait till the RFID section comes in, like Ken, bring you up to date on all of that stuff that's going on back there. And it's been I think, a pretty good success. The first hour probably was a little rocky, but after that, with the volunteers have been fantastic. So if you see a volunteer out there that's helping us through this thing, pat them on the back, because they are taking some they're taking one for the team in some instances. So, you know, just thank them and for taking their time to come in and do that for us. What you see, this boat anchor here on my desk, we're gonna start changing out some of the irrigation backflows. We can flush the black backflow systems. They're 20 years old in the ground. They're plastics. Most of them are plastic, and so they're very brittle. Some of them have a little shutoff valve that's metal that's been it's eaten away and it's getting corroded, and they break off real easy. So that's one thing we don't want to have happen. So we're gonna just kind of lean forward a little bit and see and start changing those backflow systems out so we can flush the irrigations. We try to flush about every 3 months. We take the filters out of the pumps and clean those, put them back, and then we flush the systems. It seems to work pretty good. And so we use Tim basically as a test, his area as a test, and seems to be working pretty well, flushing the systems that way. So we have quite a few of them that this will be able to stay in the ground for basically ever, and it's a different type of valve, and works a lot easier than the other ones that we're afraid to try.
So we have zones then around.
Correct.
Okay.
All right, so you do see sod being tore up out there in the property, and that's going to be another interesting process. You know, the watering is going to be an interesting process. I'll have a talk with LMP today about that issue. You know, that's over the weekend, I believe they might have cut our phone lines when they dug some of that up. That's why the gatehouse was down over the weekend with phone. And we finally got Comcast to come out here and pay us a visit. I had to beg, borrow, and prostitute myself to get them, but they're here, and hopefully we're back up. I haven't got a word from the gate yet if they're back up and running. But other than that, we're gonna, you know, we've taken a gentleman out, showed him Laurel Road, and he's putting together a plan for us for the landscape architect. Grates, we'll go out to, when Rick gets here, we'll make sure the grates are out in those areas are, every one of them is looked at and evaluated. So we don't want anybody to stand on one and
Appreciate it.
you know, we're having to fish them out. So
That would be good.
other than that, right now we're just, you know, the RFID is an ongoing thing, and it will be, you know, even after this initial thing gets done in the next 4 weeks, we're also got the rollout of the app.
Right.
That's going to be a interesting process. And so we'll just, you know, we just keep on leaning forward, and, you know, it'll take hold, and hopefully I think it's going to be a great thing for the community once it's all implemented and people really learn how to use it. So, all right. Any questions?
Actually, a couple of comments were, I was a little more LMP related, but you can go back to them. Drop it in the front, and I guess we had this issue that the poinsettias were dying, and we replaced them with the new flowers, they were dying, and then you told me it was an irrigation issue. I just want to know, how could it be an irrigation issue that caused the plants to die when just the week before, I asked them if the poinsettias were dying, this was an irrigation issue, they said, no, everything's working fine. So how did irrigation all of a sudden happen in a week?
We went back out there and tore out the heads, and there's filters in those heads, and cleaned them all out.
So there was an irrigation issue.
It was a little bit of an irrigation issue, and so it was the heads, water's getting there, but not to the magnitude that once you clean those filters out. And we took all those out and redid them, didn't replace them, but just cleaned them.
Okay, and the other question is I have, drove in the front, we're paying $2,000 a year to have fountain maintenance. But with the height of the bushes, you can't see the fountain. Shouldn't we either stop paying money for fountain maintenance and in fact repairs, or cut the stuff down so we can actually see it? I mean, does that make sense?
Which fountain?
In the front.
Normally they are cut. It's the period now where it's winter and it's not probably a good time to cut them right now.
Because they're really tall, you can't even see the top of the
I
water.
know, I look at it all the time.
Okay.
I would actually, instead of that, would like those bubblers to go higher. I don't think that's possible though, but that would be kind of nice if we could get those.
Or have new, the stuff that looks a little scraggly anyway, maybe something for the landscape to look at, possibly we're planting something new in there.
Those, actually, almost everything there is fairly new from the last, we've been up there, so I would rather wait and, we have this landscape architect, get Laurel Road
Okay.
done, and then have him, we talked about doing that whole corridor.
Okay,
And let's just
Fair
wait and do
fair
that.
enough. Because I just said, we're spending $2,000 for fact maintenance and you can't see it.
Sounds good.
So, okay,
Two quick things for me. So I think you probably know there's a little bit of a challenge last Monday because some vendors were turned away from working Monday.
Oh, yeah, that was another thing I need to bring up.
Yeah. I mean, a very famous, landscape management person in here was like, my crew lost the whole day. And I know there was,
Who was that?
you know
I'm
who it is.
sorry, we did the accent, that's why I asked.
My Georgia accent, but I think what might be helpful would be if everybody knows, these 6 holidays are the ones, if 6
Well,
right now.
here's how that went down.
Got it.
All right, I have, up at the front gate now, we have 2 retired military guys. One is a Marine and the other's an Air Force retiree. And so they read everything to the letter of the law. And if you read what
It's a
the
national
POAs says, it says every national holiday, we will not let people in.
Right.
So they read that and that's what they did,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
When I came in at 8 o'clock, poor Tony had been cussed out so many times. And it's not funny because he's not being cussed out like, oh, darn you.
no,
He's being
I get
cussed
it.
out with 4-letter words that, I use them, but, okay, and that's unacceptable, right? Then I get to my office and I start fielding the phone calls and getting cussed out. I called the gate and said, open it up. I don't care. Let's do this. So that's when I got with the POA and said, okay, what's the deal here? All right, what holidays do you want? So you make a decision on what 6 holidays, 10, it doesn't
Right.
matter.
Right.
Let me know. I will inform the gate of what we're gonna do, okay? The other thing that came up was Saturdays, all right, the hour is to work is from 8 until 5.
Right.
It was 7 till 5.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm not gonna have the guards tell these vendors, sorry, you can't come in for an hour.
Right.
All right, because that's gonna cause
Oh, yeah.
Just
Especially in the summer.
all kinds of interesting, things.
Right.
So, I've had a great conversation with the president of the POA and with Ray, and they're gonna come to the, say, okay, 7 o'clock, I mean, it'll be whatever they say, needs to happen there, and then but I really don't think 8 o'clock is the answer. I would rather have them come in at 7 and leave at 3.
So how are we gonna decide what the holidays are and make sure everybody knows?
Address that?
That's a POA issue,
POA issue, not-
and they'll
No,
tell us.
I understand that, but it has to translate
Well,
back
sure.
to the.
And as soon as they tell me which ones, I'll have Ray put it out, and then I'll put it out as well.
Okay, that's all I need to know. Okay.
May I,
Oh,
may I make a comment on
Sure.
that? The community-wide standards currently states
Yeah.
national holidays.
Right, it does,
Now,
which
national-
comes from the master declaration.
Yes, so, and the times are there, 7, I think it's 7 to 7 during the week, and
Right.
Saturday,
Right.
it was changed, one of the, meetings when they were discussing the community-wide standards, changed 8 to 5. It is on our agenda at our next meeting on the 11th, because we had to change our meeting date, to actually spell out the holidays. And it is also, the exception is emergencies.
Right.
Yes.
AC,
Right.
COVID
Right.
issues,
Right.
things
Yes.
that are really problematic.
Okay,
And also we should make an exception for like our pool maintenance has to be done every day. So like certain vendors need to come in regardless of a holiday or not, because like if we're I believe our pool vendor comes in every day to monitor our pool.
no, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
He comes in 3 days a week.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
because Tim told me, Tim had mentioned he comes in constantly, so, but
No,
certain
3
people,
days a week.
but certain people like that should not be turned, certain vendors for certain things should not, I don't think should be turned away. I mean, you don't want people in.
So who makes that
I don't
determination?
think that's
But it's
right,
actually-
Rich. I think we have to have
Yeah,
a
okay.
rule, because otherwise,
Clear direction.
those guys at the guardhouse are gonna
Okay.
be crazy.
Right,
All right,
exactly.
yeah,
It has, the
Exactly.
post
It
orders
needs
have
to
to
be
be
consistent.
clear.
Okay, all
The
right.
post
Yep.
orders have to be clear,
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
If there are any exceptions that you think of that you would like to be considered at our next meeting, somebody please let me know.
I can gather that information and I can bring it to the next, as the liaison,
Okay,
okay?
sounds good.
Thanks.
Hey, Rich, just for some clarifications, I'll just say, like, for example, the cleaning company, they'll come, if we stipulate if we need them on a holiday or something, but a lot of the vendors, because they have to pay their employees overtime, then it's written in the contract and then they charge you for that as well, so I just want you to
Okay,
know.
all right, that's,
Interesting.
I'm just relating what I
Yeah,
heard, so
yeah.
that's fine.
The only other thing I wanted to mention is, I thought that we were gonna change the instructions for the gate about coming in, that I wouldn't be able to just show up and say, I'm here to go to the River Club, and they just were allowed right in, or, did we ever change that?
Well, they ask where they're going, they're supposed to be asking for their IDs, all right? But when it comes right down to it,
Right.
we can't stop them.
No, I get it, but that's not my point. My
Okay.
point is, when I called the gate and said, oh, I have somebody coming in, but I'm gonna be meeting her at the River Club, and usually people are looking for a destination address, so, and my address is not the address of the River Club. And he said, no, just tell them to say they're going to River Club, we'll let them right in. And I just want the other supervisors to know, so that led to an email exchange I had with Andy about potentially taking away some of the people who are looky-loos, just saying, I'm here to play tennis, I'm here to play golf. That maybe we could consider, and you and I spoke about this, potentially putting a sign on the visitor side that says, to somebody before the turnaround, before the guard shack, that says, please have your ID and Venetian destination address ready for the gate officer. Because I think some people will, just whip around and realize, I'm gonna get questions, so I'm just gonna
Well,
turn around. Maybe it won't be deterrent, I don't know.
If that's what the board deems, if
Just
we
throwing it out
put
there.
a sign up there. Yeah, we talked about it, I thought, yeah, that's a great idea.
I would also like to add, and I don't know if this is a possibility, and I don't want to belabor this conversation,
Right.
but if somebody's coming in to say, well, I'm going to the River Club to play pickleball, is it inappropriate for that person in the gatehouse to say, okay, well, that's members only? Do you have your amenities card with you? Is that inappropriate at all? Could we ask for that? Because this is kind of what's happening.
It is happening.
So, Andy, I'm
You can
gonna,
ask for their card.
you can ask
But
for their
again, if
amenity
they
card.
say, I don't have it, they'll say, you still have to let them in.
Yeah, I know, I don't want to create more of a hassle for the folks in the gatehouse, but I also don't want this with all these apartments coming in to all of a sudden to be a free-for-all and everybody's using our pickleball courts here because they don't have any other place to play pickleball.
Right.
That's, if it deters 10 people,
So maybe it's something we can do
Yeah.
at a future
Yes.
meeting. I just wanted
Okay.
to get that out there, because I know they're doing the best they can at the gate.
Yes.
It's not easy.
Well, the other thing you can do as well is put up, just like they did out here at these gates, that taking it back down, but your amenities card opens the pickleball gate.
Yeah, but then somebody's standing on the pickleball courts and I forgot my card, right?
Yeah.
And then they open up the gate.
They do that at the pool.
It's gonna happen. in-
Yeah,
Yeah, they do it
It
at
is
the pool.
gonna
I
happen
mean, it's,
anyway.
I
That's why
feel
it's
like,
gonna hurt
I
to
feel
feel
like
the
it's
turret,
like
but-
what Ernest said, it's just gonna progressively get
I
a little
agree
bit
with that.
more
Yeah.
apparent,
Well,
yes.
let's,
So,
maybe
yeah, I'm
let's,
sorry.
maybe
We'll,
let's.
we'll look at
it's all good.
signs, and if you give me the right words that you want on the sign, that, because they're coming down there pretty quick, so it's gotta be
Right,
Right.
few words and bigger.
big words and not very many of them.
Okay, so I'll do that. We can maybe discuss it at the next meeting in the pursuit of efficiency.
Or maybe your workshop. We're at the 2-hour mark,
Yeah, okay,
supervisors,
yep.
and we still have a lot of items to cover. Is there anything else for Keith?
Nope.
No?
I was gonna talk about ponds, but I'll talk to him about it.
Okay. All right. So on my end, Andy pretty much reported, FDEM did approve, the submittal of our appeal to FEMA, so we'll continue to monitor that. It was good news. I did want to discuss, the current operating account with the board. We have been moving from Truist to Bank United, for several reasons. First off, Truist is not providing any interest. So with moving the account from Truist to Bank United, the district would, it's not much, it would be 0.10% interest. It's an advanced software. We would have advanced software integration. They have superior software in comparison to Truist, and we'd also have better coverage as it pertains to fraud. So most of our districts have elected to move forward with the move. It's just your operating account. All your other accounts are just resting with Vesta.
My only caveat is what I said at other meetings, which is as long as we don't have to have a banking relationship with who we privately place the bond with.
No. And it is a qualified public depository, which is a requirement for the
By
district.
statute, right?
Okay.
Do we need to
Yes.
vote
I
on it?
need for you to,
Okay,
give your
okay.
approval so that we can move the funds and close out the Truist account.
Motion to approve.
Second,
We will have to just open it up for any audience
Oh.
comment right now.
Public comment,
Yes.
yeah, okay.
So there was a motion by Rich, second by Cindy. We're gonna open this up for public comment. Any comments? Okay. Any further discussion?
I just wanted to I was gonna bring up the point anyway, not affecting this vote, but I wanted to talk to Vanessa's out, but it seems like we're holding an excessive amount of cash in the banks, and it's like 1.2 million right now. And I don't know if we can free some of that up to turn it over to
That's all fine.
Dana to be investing even in short-term treasuries
Yep.
at a better rate than the banks are gonna give us.
Absolutely.
Well, she's out, but typically what happens is she sends an email over to Dana so that they can start the withdrawal. So if you saw a large deposit, it's probably because it hit right when she was finalizing the financial statement. We only keep, I think it's 2 to 3 months of operating expenses in the general fund account. So everything else should be moved out.
So you think it's a timing issue?
It's a timing issue.
Okay.
So I'll talk to her, she'll probably call you regardless, Ken, but when she gets back. But typically it's all moved out and moved in by Dana. Dana does the wire.
Because she did copy me on a fairly large.
But I think that one wasn't for the River Club. I thought it was for the River Club, but I
There were
might be
two
wrong.
things in there, I think there's one for each, yeah. That's 700, yeah.
Okay, so any further discussion? All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
So on the Hurricane Milton RPA, I've already submitted all of the invoices that have been paid to date. I've answered all of the questions that have been submitted. I've provided all of the GPS coordinates that were provided. It took some time for me to sort through all of the information that Bill Gibb submitted, but I was able to go invoice by invoice and put everything in. So you will see those invoices posted probably with the next financial statement because we did move forward and make payments on them. Any questions for me? All right.
Thank you, though, for the letter to Commissioner LaRosa,
Yes.
because it
Thank
clearly
you,
got
thank you.
results.
You know, Ken and I exchanged a few emails about this, and, you know, it's unfortunate that we have to resort to those type of measures to get something, you know, so important done. But I did leave the complaint open. I haven't closed it out yet because there's still one post that's
Okay.
pending. Because they were following up with me. At one point, the posts were all left up, but there were 5 that were still not working. So they contacted me and said, well, we're gonna close out the ticket because FPO reported that everything is fixed. And I said, not so fast. The lights aren't working. So there's 5 lights that are not working. So the ticket is still open, and I'm not gonna tell them that everything is done until Keith reports that that light is
Okay,
fixed.
appreciate
They're
it.
still
Because
not working?
I'm afraid that if I say everything is
One on the right
completed, it'll take months for them to come back and do it.
Yeah.
But that, you know, and now we do have a point of contact at FPL,
Okay,
and now we know that she is the go-to person
Oh,
for
great.
streetlights. So I have that information and
Great.
pass it on to Keith.
I'll keep your boot on. Thanks, Melinda.
Keep
No
that
problem.
one handy.
Yep.
Might need it again.
I hope not.
All right, Project Tech Wave update, Ken.
I'll be brief. We've already answered a couple of the questions that I had. I just wanted to reiterate thanking the team of volunteers. David Moy has been coordinating the volunteer group. It's about 22 people. Because it's a lot of, you know, we're manning the desks Monday through Friday to 9 to 5 and Tuesdays till 7 p.m. And we had a very successful first week. We already talked about that. And it looks like today is kicking off busy over there for the next group of streets. So we're just gonna progress through the 6-week cycle and keep the project moving.
When do you anticipate the first email coming out for the Tech Wave app?
Probably early March,
Okay, in the next
because
couple
it's
weeks.
gonna be late March, it'll be sent out to all the residents.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Strategic Planning Work Group update, Ken.
That's all for me. So I had sent to everybody, I got 11 responses to the request for inputs. Out of those 11, I identified 7 that I'd like approval to move forward with. And basically, I went through the same process I did several years ago in 22. I interviewed everyone by phone, asked them the same kinds of questions. I've got a fairly diverse group. The residents' tendency is from like 4 years to 20 years, 22 years. And I think I've got a reasonably good mix of residents. So unless somebody's got an issue, I'll notify those people. It's also being formed as a work group, by the way.
It's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
So, because it's an ad hoc group.
Yes.
And hopefully we're only gonna be a couple of months into the process.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll go through the same extensive detail we went through the last time, but I'd like to get each of the committee involved in considering their thoughts for the next 5 years. And hopefully we'll have it wrapped up by May.
It's nice that you have a little bit of continuity in there too. So you have
You know,
one.
Joe's the only one that,
Right.
the only repeat,
Well, no, but I think
Joe
it's good
Brown.
for continuity as well, so.
yeah.
Thank you for doing that.
I wasn't gonna read the names off yet until I've contacted the
Right.
Yeah.
people and make sure that they.
That's why I didn't
they
say
agree.
you did. Yeah. Thank you for doing that.
Do you need an approval of the members or
I
the charter?
I didn't think so.
No, because it's not
Ad
charted
hoc
by
and
us,
then
so
But
I-
ad
the
hoc
work group, this, do you need approval or no?
I don't think
We
so,
need
because it's a
approval for
work
a work
group, it's not a board charter
Good,
thing, I wouldn't go
okay.
there.
Yeah, it's not a charter
Uh-uh.
Okay with that.
per se either.
Yeah,
And it's kind of a,
yeah,
pick
yeah.
up on the
Flowy
left side.
thing, yeah, flowy thing.
Okay,
So,
cool.
all right, that's it.
Cool.
Keep you updated.
Thanks. All right.
Okay. We're gonna move into item number 5C, which is the discussion regarding the parking lot repaving project.
Do we need to do
I think we
more on that,
covered
or we're
everything.
done?
I think we kind of talked about that in the workshop, and we're waiting for some more information.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, good.
So should I put this in your next workshop agenda, or no?
I think Rick
Part of the
thought he would
district,
have another quote by
part of
the
the
next
district
meeting.
engineering.
Okay.
Yeah.
So next meeting. One thing I forgot to ask was, the next meeting, is it gonna be just a workshop, or is it gonna be a meeting and a workshop? The next meeting scheduled for March 10th, 2025.
The next meeting is the Joint Landscape Committee and CDD Board.
Okay.
That notice that went out,
Okay.
So that's a big board
that's
meeting.
got board meetings.
Okay.
Are we having a workshop beforehand? I'm asking Jill.
Well, I think they're productive, but is it too early for everybody? I think we should do it. Yeah, we'll do. Well, did you notice a workshop?
They're all.
All noticed.
Yeah.
Okay, then I think we should have it. What do you all think? You think yes?
8:30 to 9:30?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine
I
with
think it's
that.
very productive.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Linda thinks we're behind, but then we fly through the.
Right.
All right.
One thing I would ask you to add to the next agenda, Belinda, is, oh, actually, we can do it supervisor comments. Let's wait and talk about it then.
Actually, if you wanna just tell me now, I can just add it here
Oh,
to my notes.
LaSalle work group presentation, and then I'll talk about it in supervisor comments. So LaSalle work group presentation, and there will be an attachment to go in the package, and we know the timing, so I will have it.
So
to
this
you.
is for the meeting itself, right?
Yes, the 9:30 meeting, yes. And there will be a tab.
Got it.
Thanks.
And Belinda, you got the notice about the POA/, okay, great. I couldn't remember if I sent it or not. Thank you.
Got it.
I think I already saw the hand.
We have the advertisement already.
Oh, perfect, thank you.
Okay. Discussion regarding the priorities for the River Club space. Jill,
Oh, was that me?
was it?
Well, we had talked at the last meeting, and I think that facilities,
Yeah.
I thought
I
that
think it goes
facilities,
does it go with the next one about the locker room?
a little bit, yes.
Yeah, I think all of that gets pushed off, because right now,
Right.
we
I think
haven't
that's
had
right.
facilities meeting, we need to discuss these things, so.
Right,
So this, table this,
Yes.
5C and 5E?
Yeah, put on the
Yes.
next meeting, and if we get to them, great, if not, we'll just take them off and go to the next meeting after that.
yeah, I think that's right. Same thing with painting, right?
Mhm.
Oh, F3F, yeah.
Yeah.
Vendor goals. Ooh.
Okay, so painting the same?
Yes.
Vendor goals.
Okay. 5G, discussion regarding the vendor goals.
Kind of me-ish. So you would have received from me for information, 2 emails, one with some items relating to Vesta vendor goals, and then a second one relating to Rosetta vendor goals. I did bring my laptop in case you wanted to pound something into a table format here. Does anybody need a hard copy of the table?
I'm good.
Okay. You probably got, you're good,
I
okay.
got it.
Okay, all right. So I did bring copies of that. So, and then you probably saw Ken also, sent around his thoughts on it. And I did bring copies, if it's helpful, of, under when we get to talk about club amenities. Julie, do you want a copy of this? I think I emailed it to you, but would you like a
Yeah.
photocopy?
No, do you want me to go get it?
No, I'm saying if you'd like a copy, I have it here.
I did see your email.
I did make photocopies
Thank
of
you.
2 pages from last year's survey, because there was some discussion under amenities on statistics from that survey. So, do you want it? I've got
Yeah,
a hard copy of it.
Yeah, can I have a hard copy?
Yeah.
Not-
If you got an extra, I'll take it too, but.
Okay.
I printed them up.
I don't need that,
Oh,
that is what
Okay,
I need.
well,
I don't
okay,
need those.
here, there we go. Just keep on.
Okay, thanks.
There you go, sir.
So,
Thank
I think it's important to not get too overloaded with a number of goals, but maybe we can just make sure what we have between mine and what Ken sent around makes sense, settle on those, and then make sure the measures make sense, because I confess, I was just pounding some things in, so.
Mine were much better.
No problem.
Wow. Do you want to just take yours one part at a time?
Yeah, I think that's fine. So, and really I tried to drive these off of the strategic direction
Yeah.
document, right? So for Vesta, it's two buckets. It's the facilities and then it's the amenities. So under facilities, to me, it's, maintenance and improvement of club facilities and infrastructure. And then, so I put down, I wanted to start with major projects. So, the River Club Systems Project 2025, website functionality, because that was your comment at the last meeting, Jonas. So the reservations and email notifications. And my question was whether TechWave
Sure, it is.
would fall. Yes, okay. So that falls
See.
under there.
How are you gonna measure?
Amenities access. part.
Well,
Amended.
Wouldn't this year just the measurement just be in successful installation and then next year
sure.
would be satisfaction?
Okay.
Um,
Well, but
Otherwise, how are you gonna
It's
measure
it's
it?
kind of a subjective evaluation.
well, it is. That's the
Yeah.
problem. But I wasn't sure whether we wanted to, by the end of the year, we're gonna know, for example, if people can't make tennis reservations, can't make dining reservations,
Sure.
we're gonna have a sense. So there is some subjectivity to it, but it won't be numerical. Well,
Yeah.
that's.
It's either gonna be functioning the way we want it to, or expect it to, or not. So,
Which is a functional implementation, not necessarily satisfaction with.
correct.
All right, so
Right,
we'll
so
just
I
call it a
would call that-
successful implementation. Yeah, okay. All right, so both for Jonas overall or just the website?
you. Both.
I think it should be both.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think so too.
okay, and then TechWave, okay. And then, maintenance cleanliness of clubhouse and grounds, I think that's sort of a given, but, do we need to address it? What are your thoughts?
Well, we've addressed it in a sense through the facilities committee. We've charged Julie, and actually we talked to Bernard about this, that there should be a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly checklist of all the things that need to be done.
Right, so that's like a tactic though, as
So,
opposed to a
But
measure.
it should, it should be created. There should be a document for it. So if Ron leaves, or Ron is sick, or Ron's on vacation, somebody else is now able to fill in and do those checklists. Because just an example in here, 1, 2, 3, 4
Right,
lights are out.
right.
Somebody should be walking through
So
weekly,
then,
monthly.
so then we could say implementation of,
Of-
checkllists, and then I'll put daily.
How about
activities.
creation?
Yeah, and
Creation
then-
and
I would say creation of an
That's what I'm
implementation.
saying.
of-
Creation of first,
Establishment and then, yes.
we need to have one.
But I also think that we need to specify because there are other things above and beyond what Juan does that do involve
Yes.
maintenance, and that's things like the tidiness in the fitness center.
I'm not just saying,
Okay, okay.
I'm not just saying one, I'm just,
Oh,
I'm just,
okay,
I just,
okay.
says,
Okay, fine,
but there should be, yes, a checklist.
yeah,
The fitness center, the aerobic studio,
Yes.
the bathrooms, I know we have, that all these things, that somebody's walking in, making sure that all the faucets are not, the faucets are leaking. Out in the tennis court, somebody's gotta make sure, should be walking through routinely, making sure that the water fountains
Yeah.
are working,
yep.
So
systems are
Vesta's
working.
goal will be to create that, bring it here for approval, so it's ready to go.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's right, and because we can always
Why do
amend
we
it.
have to approve it?
Or we don't, but
We
just
don't
to
have to,
see it, well, we have to check it off that it's done. We don't have to approve it.
If
but we
it's a
just have to
goal,
see it.
yeah.
I think it's good that we have it, that,
Yeah,
establishment,
But again, it's there.
yeah, okay, well, let me
But
put it in.
we
see
should
what it
have,
looks
we
like.
should have it here, unless we have to sit and analyze it, but we should have it.
No, you're right, it should, no.
And then it
you're
should be,
absolutely right.
it should be a
It should
document
exist.
that's left for whoever. So when Julie leaves and we have a new manager, the new manager who comes in, now has the checklist, he may revise it or amend it or want to change some of the timing, but we have, if you don't have something to work off of,
Right,
then you
fair
can't work
enough,
off of
okay, we
anything.
get it, okay, so, and maybe that's something that you can provide, so, because I think Tim's done them already. So-
Tim has done a lot of that.
So then if we go to the club amenities, element, so again, member sentiment or satisfaction, which is somewhat measurable, obviously, because of the survey, budget target, profitability target, reporting, which I think can be made, to conform with what Ken had provided, since it was vastly superior to what was in mine. So shall we, so I can just conform those, what you have here, I'll just put number one, meter exceed the 2025 F&B revenue budget. I'll just put that in here. Meter exceed profit and loss budget, I'll put that in here. 2025 resident survey, improve member sentiment, top 2 box. Yeah, proud of club, okay, that's fine. Is that the one that we want to use?
I think proud of
Well-
club, I think we talked about that one being kind of some people don't understand
Yeah.
what that means.
Well, there is a bottom line, overall satisfaction, all things considered, your overall satisfaction. And, unfortunately, it's a much lower number, it's 36.6. So I have copies of it, it's a pretty shabby copy, but that was my question for you, is do we,
I would change it to the overall satisfaction.
I would too,
I would too.
from 36,
Yes.
6 and to whatever, 40.
Because that incorporates everything, maintenance,
okay,
F&B, service, the whole experience.
okay, because there's satisfaction and then there's sentiment, which I think are 2 different things. So then on the next page, again, there's overall, I have confidence in the, club's management team, I'm not sure that's,
Yeah.
I'm proud, I think, is maybe where we can use that.
Well, I would drop the problem then.
Okay, we'll just drop it.
I
We should
think
keep it
overall
simple.
satisfaction should
I agree.
actually hit it, yeah.
I agree.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so we'll just keep it at that, okay, and then,
Well, I think confidence in the management team is an evaluation of
yes,
Dustin.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think that's a good.
Yeah, I think we need
That's
to-
a good thing to
yeah,
have, for sure.
so that in here at last year's survey. Now, we're gonna be getting survey results in another month. Do we update these to the numbers that we get in the survey?
I think we should.
No, these are gonna be the answers.
These are gonna be the answer.
The next survey is gonna be
The
the
next,
answers.
yeah,
Oh,
the
I
next
see,
survey is gonna
okay.
be the answers to all those
So
questions,
31.9, what, 35?
40? Yeah, you suggested 40, that's kind of a big,
I'm
I'm thinking it's
I'm
a
happy
big
with
leap,
it.
especially with Bernard being in and out and
I say
maybe
35.
35,
Okay,
36.
35 is good, okay. Okay, so, I'm gonna take out that guy, okay. So then, we got the budget in here, we got the profitability in here. What do we think about usage targets?
You're gonna put revenue and,
I thought about that, Jill, too.
Yeah,
And because we don't have good baseline information to measure that, and clearly, in my opinion, the coverage numbers are up significantly.
yes, they are,
So, but we don't have a baseline.
yeah.
So I figured I didn't think we needed
Probably premature, yeah.
the usage.
do we have year-over-year baseline? I mean, users, year-over-year?
No, that's the problem.
That's the-
Okay.
That would be
Okay, so we'll-
nice, that would be a great one.
So, you know,
Well, it
we'll-
will be next year.
Yeah, so, we'll
Leave those
take that out.
Yeah, if people, if, let's say only 40% of the people use a club, but they use a club twice as much, ultimately, that will get the word out to the other 60.
Right.
It should, and someday, maybe next year,
We'll have
because
data.
I've talked to Julie and Bernard about this kind of ad nauseum, but, it would be fascinating to see, especially with Julie's comment about murder mystery, if I'm just gonna pull a number out of the air, 40% of the households are spending, $400 a month at the club. It's probably not that high, but, and we ask them to increase that by 10%, by the end of the year. In other words, increasing the penetration. In other words, we don't have 30%, now we have 35% of households that are spending more than X amount.
Well-
In other words, increasing the penetration.
Maybe
You want new, you always want new
Yeah,
friends.
we had, actually, we had seen that, I had seen a report that showed all of the sales by resident for
Yes.
the charges. That would be great to see, that would be a great metric to see. if
Well,
we-
that's essentially what I'm referring to, it just doesn't have names attached to it, yeah.
I think you want to be careful about that.
Well, probably, because there's some people who do events and whatever, I don't know,
Well,
but.
no, but if we get that report, it becomes public information.
No, but you don't put names on
Take
it.
the
I'm
names
sure
off.
there's a way to run a report
To-
that says
to run a
X number
report,
of homes spend more than $500
Yeah,
a
that's
month
an
at
easy
the club,
count.
or
That's
a
an
year, I
easy
wouldn't do a month, a year. It would just be interesting to know, to see if we have more friends.
Or Vesta can run a report and alpha sort by name, but don't give that to us.
They wouldn't need to.
I don't need to see.
I don't
the-
even think they need to do it by
No,
name.
no,
I think
to
they
do
can
that.
just do it by the number of residents.
Well, the survey asks questions. I guess if we get it, that's interesting, but what are we gonna do with it?
Just to compare.
As opposed to the survey
Just
that
to
asks
compare-
how many times are you using.
It tells us if more homes are using the club for dinner, or for meals, or whatever.
Well, the survey kind of tells you that too.
I think it's much less statistically reliable, but what do I know? I think we're
No.
arguing about something we can't do right now. anyway.
It is, I just don't know what we're
Yeah,
gonna do. with
no,
it.
I hear you. Bob were here, he'd agree with you, so. And I think the most important one, well, not most important, but a key one is the reports. Are you happy with what's here? Monthly financials covered by location, event pro formas, what's missing?
KPIs.
Well, we need them, yeah.
That's what I mean, like develop
Yeah.
KPIs.
Yeah, we need, yes.
Okay.
I would also put down, Julie and I, we've gone back and forth, accuracy of communication. There, we have to have communications that come out with accurate information. Pricing is wrong, information is wrong, things are continually wrong. I keep catching a lot of things, not just typos, but significant issues that, I'm not gonna go, no need to go into them all, but I think, we should, things have to be accurate, and I don't know how you measure that.
Well, to me, that's part of confidence in the management team, because ultimately somebody has oversight for that. I mean, is that, does that satisfy kind of what you're after?
I just don't know how, for example, I saw something, I saw an ad come out for game night.
Right,
I looked at it, I went online, and it said, go to page 2. Well, you couldn't go to page 2, so.
yeah, no, I get it.
Then it had,
I could go to page 2.
you can now,
I could the first time.
I couldn't, for the very first one that came out.
Can I say, sometimes it depends on your browser, because I just switched browsers and, oh my God, it was horrible. And so depending on what browser you use, I went back to using Safari and everything opened. So you kind of try switching your browser once when that
But I'm saying,
happens.
I'm using Google, if using a Google browser, if that doesn't work, you're everywhere in trouble. But then also it had, the verbiage was wrong for how things are
But
priced.
how do you measure all this? I mean, that's
I don't know,
that's the-
that's what I'm saying, I don't know
That
how
to
you
me, I
measure
think
it.
is a discussion that provides color around
Yeah.
the satisfaction number.
If you're
Part of
rating
effective
it on a 1 to
communication.
10, then we decide,
Right.
yes, they all came out timely,
Right.
but they weren't always accurate, so
Right.
they get a 5. Yeah.
Right. So if I make these edits, we all happy with this?
I would also.
Yeah,
Yeah, you gotta change the
But
footnote.
you gotta change this.
Yeah.
It's 2025
Yeah.
survey
Right.
versus 2020.
Right.
I would also, on this, I would like to see them, development of some kind of operational procedures manual, which we don't have.
Yeah, like an SOP.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have an SOP for
I mean,
front
just-
desk and that kind of stuff.
People come in here, they get hired, do they know what the job is, they know what the responsibilities are? Even down to simple things, like if there's an accident or an injury, what do? Are the staff trained on the AED monitor?
So
AEDs?
establish SOPs.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, are they
For
trained on-
key club.
Julie, I thought you had a binder
They
with
have a
SOPs.
binder.
Yeah.
Julie?
What's,
I thought you had a binder with SOPs.
that's from, we do, we have a binder with SOPs, but I was trying to look up that communication, we do have a binder with SOPs.
I know, like, other staff.
Again, to
training
me,
that
that's a company
Yeah,
thing that they should be managing.
Well,
I
I'm
don't
not
think
saying-
that's ours.
But if they have one, that's great. I just don't know.
Why do you need to know?
But like,
That's that fine line between a management issue and a board issue, not
Yeah,
sure where
okay,
that falls.
but look, so we got an email the other day, somebody got injured, they didn't know how to report it. If there's an SOP, they would know what to do.
Oh, no, they know what to do.
They know what
They
to
They
do.
knew what to do.
They know what to
We
do.
got
They
an
knew what to do,
incident
I just
report.
got an email on it, it was filled out correctly.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Yes,
all right.
absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah, we're good there.
Yep.
all right.
All right, so I will do this. So on Rosetta, which I thought was a little bit, because you've got the various contracts, again, anybody need a copy? I'm gonna toss one down to all.
Okay, well, I didn't see the Rosetta one.
I didn't see Rosetta
You
either.
didn't send out a result.
You didn't send out
I didn't see
Rosetta.
the Rosetta one.
You sent out just Vesta.
Just
And then
Vesta.
Ken commented on Rosetta.
Oh, no.
I got,
Really?
yes, I got 2 Vestas.
Yeah, so did I. I thought I was seeing.
Me too, I got 2 Vestas from you, not a Rosetta and a
Rats,
Vesta.
okay,
Yep.
all right, so, okay.
I saw Ken's thing.
And I saw Ken, but Jill
I
sent
shouldn't
2
do
Ken
that.
has
Vestas.
When I've given up crack, I guess. Okay, so let's see, there's 1, 2, hang on, I got enough here. Yeah, there's
I haven't
plenty.
seen yours, Joe, but I like mine better.
Yeah.
Wow.
Blah, 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 blah.
There you go.
So in addition to, sorry about that, I usually check my sent mail, but, so there
Oh,
were,
you just copied mine.
I did actually take a number of things from you, Ken, and also, I went through the contracts that we have with Rosetta. I don't know whether you want copies of the example, because they were in the email, which apparently didn't go out, of the F1 filing that was made on behalf of the district. And then the example of the field manager report.
Yeah, I got that.
I got
don't know if everybody else did, but that's really a boilerplate thing.
Okay,
That's,
yeah, I wasn't sure if you wanted it though.
it's not for us.
Okay. All right,
We're
well,
gonna-
it doesn't, but it does inform.
We're gonna
what's
measure real
in here though. All right, well, okay, so let's go off of, oh no, Ken, I just lost your page in my sea
Here,
of
here,
paper.
There we
My
go.
sea of paper.
I've got it in my screen if you want to take a look at it here.
No, I got Cheryl's, I'm gonna steal hers.
Okay.
General fund. So Ken, what I did do though, at the last meeting, you said reduce improve the district operating budget for fiscal year 25-26 by 5% at the last meeting.
I did, but then I started thinking about it, saying, well, is that-
What are you getting at? Yeah, in other words, I think what you
I
did
mean,
in here was
we approved the
better.
budget.
It was better. What you put in here was better than that.
I know, but I didn't know if it was fair.
No, but I think when you say here, yeah, benchmarking,
I changed it
I think that was better.
to what I wrote here.
Okay,
Yeah, because this is pretty aggressive. 5%.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, that's what
That's-
after I
that's
looked at it again.
And we did approve the budget.
that's
yeah.
staffing. So, meet
If we
general.
do the right job on the budget,
Right,
then
excluded.
they're
Okay.
meeting it.
So we have budget monthly reporting, oversight of performance, yep, evaluation of systems. So then it looks like what I can do, is take what Ken sent around and put that into this form, unless you want to just leave it in the form that Ken has, that maybe it's simpler. But I do think we want by when and by whom, on something like this.
For sure,
At least by when.
by when, for sure, because you can't have goals if you don't know
When you
to
do it,
sustain them.
So in the interest of time, then, shall I take what Ken provided and pop it into
Yeah.
here?
Yes, yes.
Sorry
That's
about
fine.
that.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Good with that.
That's better.
I will freely admit it was massively better. And Ken is never gonna
Put that
let
in
me
the
forget
minutes,
it.
please.
I'll deny I said it.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I will send that out to you guys. Maybe we can just take a look at it at the workshop next time. Is that A-okay?
Yeah.
For you kids? Okay, cool. Well, thank you, Ken, for that fabulous compilation of the vendor goals. Okay. Move on. Linda.
Okay, great.
Oh, the next one's mine.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Hopefully I sent around the right thing, and hopefully I can
Yes.
find my copies of the, Jill, what did you do with it? I'm just gonna close this.
Which cap, what are we looking for now?
We are looking at the River Club rules, unless we wanted, it's not a burning emergency. If we want to defer it.
Okay.
And do it at the next meeting, we can. I just thought we should go through those rules in light of what we've done with the ACH and the access cards, I think will necessitate
And I think I
updated
responded
language.
to you,
You
Jill,
did.
that depending upon what you guys ultimately end up deciding with your changes, it might trigger the rulemaking process, which isn't the end of the world, but it requires some advertising and a public hearing.
Can we do
And
this
the
at the
pickleball.
workshop?
Yeah,
Can we do
let's,
this at the next workshop?
sure,
Because there's, I
absolutely.
think there's a lot. that we
There
could
is a
possibly-
lot. And
Because there are gonna be some changes to that pickleball section,
Okay,
100% for sure.
okay,
I don't know
so,
what they're gonna be, but it's gonna happen.
so that'll be the, is that the workshop then? We'll do it at the
I think the
workshop?
workshop, because that's gonna be more of a discussion than a.
And there's two ads, one's 28 days and one's before that, so you figure 29 days. So you figure, even once you guys say, these are the way we'd like it to look, let's say it's gonna trigger the process, you're still gonna have some time built in there before the meeting arrives.
Okay.
So,
Okay, and you'll let us know whether anything we've done has sort of gone there, because I think mostly in terms of fees, but.
anything that touches fees
Is.
is.
Oh, understood,
Public hearing,
absolutely,
right.
okay, yeah.
Even if you don't touch fees, again, it will depend on what you do. I mean, if you change one little word, it's probably gonna be fine, okay?
Okay.
If you're changing, that's some
Okay.
wholesale changes,
Okay.
Mhm.
then we'll probably err on the side of caution. and
So
have a public hearing.
Okay, so we'll work off of, whatever you guys have, and I have what I sent around, and we'll go from there. Okay.
Okay. So I'll put this on the next workshop.
Yes,
agenda.
please, workshop would be good, okay.
Okay, moving into item number 5I, continued discussion regarding the role of supervisors and the amenities manager.
We kind of went through that already. That was me. I think we've kind of covered a lot of that
In a workshop,
in the workshop and stuff.
okay,
Um,
okay,
yeah, I'm
enough
just,
said,
yeah,
okay. All right,
don't need to be the big one.
now, since we talked about,
I need to make a motion.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about the palm tree replacements in the workshop. Based on landscape committee's recommendation, I would make a motion that we move forward with putting Sylvester palms 6 to 9 feet in the current cul-de-sacs that do not have anything but a Christmas palm or nothing at all, and there are 4.
I second.
we need an amount, though, in that? Or not to exceed?
Not to exceed $9,000 per tree.
And just, Linda, you always catch this, but I just noted in their LMP proposal, they need to fix their warranty.
They do, their warranty language doesn't meet what we've agreed upon as it pertains to the maintenance, so LMP will have to change it.
Okay. Are we to discussion?
Like I said,
Do I get a second?
Cindy was the
I did,
second.
I gave a second, yes.
We discussed in the workshop, I would have loved to, I know you don't want to wait, but I would like to see, I wanted, before I approve it, like I said, with a lot of the things that LMP has put in here, I'm not happy with the quality. I would like to know that representative of what we're getting, before I could honestly just go ahead and say yes. There's just been too many plants and too many issues and too many things that, and I'm all for getting, these people have lived long enough without it, but
Right.
I'd rather wait one more month to get it right as opposed to rushing at this point.
So how, I mean, my comment was gonna be to let Keith and I look at what LMP is going to plant. And, even if we have to do a FaceTime to see what field they're harvesting from, because they're gonna use a tree farm, most definitely. So Keith and I can do that and make sure that it is an appropriate quality, rather than waiting a month and bringing it back here and saying, okay, everybody.
If
this
you're
is
gonna,
what I
okay,
do."
if you're gonna do that, I'm okay with that. And like I said, I'm all for going a little bit shorter to save some money. The plants will grow.
And we'll look at them. We'll look at all of
Okay,
them.
this
And we'll
is-
quality.
And if we do a not to exceed, then that kind of covers all those
Yeah,
things.
as long as I have somebody looking at it, and I'll take your word that you're gonna do the right job, I believe you'll do that, I'm okay then.
Where the vegetables move over.
Okay, so
Straight.
we have a motion and a second?
Doesn't
Any
say-
further discussion? All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
I did say.
Okay.
We're now going to move into item number 6A, which is the consideration of the minutes of the Board of Supervisors meeting held on January 13th, 2025. These are behind tab number 4 for your review. Are there any questions, comments, and/or changes to the minutes as presented?
Nope.
We've been looking for a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion.
Second,
Is that Cindy or Jill?
I know we look alike.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We're now going to move into the ratification of the operations and maintenance expenditures for the month of December 2024 and January 2025. These are behind tab number 5 for your review. The expenditures for the period of December 1st through 31st total to $141,730.90. And the expenditures for the period of January 1st through 30th total to $148,952.23. Any questions?
Not for me.
If there are no questions, we'd be looking for a motion to ratify.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion by Jill, second by Cheryl. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
We're now going to move into consent items. There are 4 consent items being presented for your acceptance. If there are no questions, we've been looking for a motion to accept.
Well, did you want to include the charter, or are you gonna do that separate?
Separate.
Oh, do you need a motion? I'll make a motion. Sorry. Oh.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
We do have the acceptance of the revised Racket Sports Advisory Committee charter. We put this separately just in case there were any recommended changes. This is behind tab number 7 for your review.
This is to get this in alignment with the template.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and we'll be doing it social and dining, in March.
And I thought I submitted facilities and I didn't. I'm blaming my Wisconsin brain freeze on all the things I forgot. So,
For good
but yes,
reason.
it looked good to me.
and I'll be doing facility, actually haven't had facilities meeting, so I will do that one coming up.
That looked fine to me.
Good. Thank you for
Yeah,
doing
help them find it.
that. You led the way.
We'd be looking for a motion to accept the charter as presented.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Advisory Committee and Liaison Reports.
I don't have one yet. I will at the next meeting. No, maybe. No, meeting after that.
I have a question. So I did figure out how to get something posted on the CDD page. What I'm still struggling with is who goes out there, right? So I posted the lighting and but you know, so I wanted to post a question. So we are gonna have a vacancy on the landscape committee. I kind of would like to put that request out on the CDD page and see if we get any feedback.
Good idea.
Because I'm struggling with, I can do this all day long, but if nobody's looking at it, then, so are you okay with me putting that out there?
Sure.
Okay.
We need one for fitness and pool as well.
Okay.
And I asked Belinda and Keith to send out an email to the community, but can you put one out there as well for that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, I don't, is the River Club site gonna have a link to
Yes.
get to? Well, that
Which
should,
might make it better.
that should help. So
But I figure if we put an ask out there that doesn't go out anywhere else and see, just give it a couple weeks and see if we get any.
Right.
It's looking-
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll know for sure if it's getting any better.
Yeah.
And if anybody wants anything else posted on there, let me know.
I don't know if she got a chance to do it, but I had asked Belinda to check the number of open hits we got on that.
Actually, I got it,
Huge.
I thought I sent you guys a
You
report.
did, it was like
Oh, maybe you
600 or something.
Yeah,
It was huge, but I,
I
Half of
sent,
them were probably me.
I sent a report.
550.
I was actually very,
I don't remember.
Between the two of you, that was 600.
I don't know if
I don't know what ID I used when I
I must
logged
have
in.
missed that one.
I was actually really surprised.
I don't remember seeing that.
I don't remember seeing it.
Yeah, there was a complete, I didn't even know that they could provide that report,
Awesome.
but, it's an analytical report,
Yeah.
and, I mean, we've had hits even from China, Japan, Canada, there's
I'm
all
looking for
sorts.
our banking information.
Maybe.
I know, I thought I circulated it, but I can recirculate it. I found that it was so interesting, over 600, in 1 month.
I wonder
So,
if that has anything to do with potential
Well,
sales.
a lot of
that are
times
happening
when
in-
you're searching for something,
Oh, maybe.
you'll get, I mean, like somebody from Japan or China could have been searching for something
and got.
that has CDD or something in it, and
Oh.
ours comes up, and they may
Well,
have
the
checked it.
interesting part about this is it tells you exactly which folders were accessed.
Oh,
So it's actually a great report. I'm gonna pull it up and resend it.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
my
I
guess is it was
swore that I
probably
sent this to everybody.
Potential buyers in the
I don't
community.
remember seeing that. I would remember
Interesting.
Yeah, that'd be
I
great to
remember.
see.
I don't remember anything these days.
Yeah, I'll forward it.
I can remember.
Rich, to answer your question, there are links to the POA, the CA, the CDD. I think those are the three, there might be a fourth, but they are all linked. The issue with the POA, obviously, and the CA is it launches to that website,
Right.
but there's no common login. So you're not getting logged into Syrinet once you hop out of
Right.
our site to the new site.
No,
So-
that's logical. Yeah.
Yes.
But I'm saying, but in
yes,
terms of, the CA is good. The other thing I was thinking we could possibly do is just go, just the HRT directly, is some, maybe in the future. as
Yeah, maybe
part-
for the winter, I'm sorry, for the hurricane season,
Yeah.
maybe we create an additional
Yeah.
link there,
Yeah,
yes.
it's a very good-
Yeah,
Just
yeah, we can
to-
do that. That's easy for her. She's a wizard at it. Yeah.
Any other reports?
I think we covered almost.
Yeah, I think I got everything covered with my stuff.
Supervisor requests or comments? Are there any supervisor requests or comments?
I wanted to ask your opinion. So Ernest mentioned going, the police issue, which, we have talked about in the past, at least the three of us were on the board, and never really got settled. We moved on to other things.
And there's a new police chief.
Yes,
Yes.
Andy Lichen.
Yeah.
So, are you amenable, so I guess I'm the city liaison, going with Ernest to just talk to them and find out, I think there were some key questions we had, if we start this, can we stop it? Are you in favor of it or against it,
And I think one big key question
Yeah.
is, we all pay taxes. I don't understand why 2 times a day, any time a day, the police can't just ring through here
I
and
agree.
leave, and without
I
having
agree,
a
100%.
lease, without having a lease.
Whether it's right or wrong, that is a common thing in dated CDDs. They just don't come in unless you do a off-duty police agreement.
Yeah, I don't, that's.
Well, that makes
I
no
think
sense.
it's
Because
I-
because the problem is
I
if we-
agree, but I'm just saying you're not
That's the
fixing that.
question. That's, but are,
Okay.
but are you all okay?
I'm okay, and the issues that I have, obviously, I mean, if they catch people speeding, I don't care. Drunk driving, don't care as much. I think the biggest issue that's
Well,
gonna.
if they see an issue,
Like-
this is
Well,
one of
right,
the
that's
key
the-
things.
that's
the
Rich,
problem.
if they see
But then that's-
somebody's
They're gonna do
grandkid
something.
who's 8 years old driving golf
But
carts,
any golf cart,
Any golf cart,
any golf cart's illegal.
drunk
unless it's-
driving, they cannot,
But
if
that's,
they see an motor vehicle
but that's the
infraction.
rub. Anybody who does not have a street legal golf cart legally cannot be driving.
It is-
Technically, ours are public streets.
It is their discretion. We cannot tell them what to do.
That's right.
If
That's
they
right.
see a crime and they want to write a ticket, we can't say, don't write tickets on golf carts. They won't.
So what
I
I,
think you and Ernest
Yeah.
should talk to them. I
Yeah.
love that idea.
okay, good,
The
oh,
new
good.
police chief. I think that's a great idea
Okay,
because
good.
we don't know,
That's-
even know what we're arguing
That's a
about.
great idea.
that she and Ernest go talk to the new police chief and see
Yes.
what is possible before we start
Absolutely.
talking about what it means.
And if you
As
have
long as they
any,
don't agree to anything.
No, don't.
oh, God,
Because
no.
I'm not in favor of.
No, I get it. I think it's purely information gathering only. There's no way.
And I think they might say no, so.
Well, and they may,
At least
and
we
I
know.
already can hear the emails hitting my inbox from retired law enforcement here going, it's a waste of, blah, blah, blah. So, but, I've talked to Ernest about it. So, if you have any specific questions, maybe email them to Ernest.
Okay.
Other than Ernest, who else has raised this question? 100, 200 other residents?
I would
Are we-
say
Are we
it does come up.
It
Are-
does
are we-
come up.
Yeah, it comes up.
It does
hitting a
come up.
hornet's nest that we're gonna?
Well, here's what I would say, is my opinion, is that the number one issue that I hear from a lot of people is concerns over our safety and security because of all the building going on. And I would say one other thing is that those of us who are here year round, it's very different in here in the summer. I know you've been here in the summer. It's very different, especially if you live on Padova or Mestry where, a lot of the homes are empty because nobody's there. I think different people have different concerns. And I guess I would just say it may be a non-starter based on what the police
That's
say,
fine.
but, if you have something specific, no, it is certainly beyond
Be
our.
careful what you ask for.
I hear you.
Which-
I hear you. So, that was one thing I was gonna mention. Just a couple of other things. So the solid work group, I think you're all scheduled to talk to one of the members of the team. And so I will put on the agenda, we've already put it on the agenda. It'll be in the package. And what I would like to do is rather than having me present it, it would be my intention to have one or two of the team members do that because it was a massive amount of work. And so I'd like to do it that way unless you object.
Yeah. I've read it, it's good.
It's
Thank
good.
you.
I've
Well,
read it.
thank you for saying
Very
that.
good.
I will tell you, I
Yes.
think it's thousands of man hours that people, if you, across all the people. Just two other quick things. Driving in here, it was too late to put it on Rick's thing, that the River Club sign to me is really,
Yeah.
really ratty and
Yes.
ragged.
Yes.
And is that something you all would be?
The monument?
No,
No,
the
the
actual
sign.
Marin tent, it's like the golf club backdrop sign.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah, I even know
shabby.
it because it's ugly.
So is that something we can
Me-
talk to you?
The one
They have a
right,
river club.
Or is that a Vesta
the
thing?
one right here is the one
It's
right here in
right
the front. Actually, I
Because
had-
there's one at Pissarro and Benito too.
The one at Passaro and Benito is terrible.
Yes.
And the one right out here is horrible also. I actually had asked facilities just to go look at it, just to get.
Can I turn that over to facilities then?
Please, that's
Okay,
fine.
great, perfect.
I'll have to go back and look at, just to get an
Okay.
idea of
No,
what,
that's
you
great.
know, an upgraded
Yeah,
size.
that's
The le-
great.
If the letters are, the
No,
back is
that's great.
all sunburned and the letters are peeling off. It
Yeah.
looks-
It's
yeah,
horrible.
it looks
It's like
tacky.
embarrassing.
It's very tacky.
I know.
And the last thing is, I'm still learning how to run an efficient meeting apparently, so I appreciate everything and do feel free to jump in because I have no pride of ownership of running these meetings. So anything anybody wants to do to help move things along, kick me in the ribs.
That also falls into, be careful what you wish for.
Hey, I have a hide like a rhinoceros and anybody will tell you that.
I
Anyway, that's
just
all I
sent
have.
the report
I
to
saw that.
everybody, so you should already
Oh,
have it.
thank you,
Yeah.
Belinda.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
I'm done.
Thank you.
And I just have one question, and Ken, it's up to you, but as a non-member of the golf club, to negotiate with the golf club about possibly renting, buying, we'll do, leasing, whatever, would it be better to have I can piss them off a little bit. I obviously don't want to piss them off in terms of, because we have to work with them, but I can be a little bit more aggressive where as a member, you may want to be a little bit more,
No, I piss them off all the time.
okay, all right, okay.
Part of the deal.
I mean,
Good work, Ken.
okay, all
I
right,
think he can take it.
okay, that's fine. I just wanted to throw it out there, so just,
No, I think I have a relationship with Jay that I think I can comfortably approach
Okay.
the subject.
okay.
He's not gonna talk about it. I can tell you right now, he personally will not. He'll maybe forward the request to somebody else.
Right.
It's not,
Okay.
it's not within his
No, I
purview.
get that. Okay, all right.
I just want to say that, I want to second what Ken said about the Techway volunteers. They are breaking their backs. We have caught heat from several of our residents, and volunteers have handled it very well. I want to thank Keith for stepping in on a handful of occasions as well. It's going really, it's going good. It's going, I'm impressed with how we ended up pulling it off the way we did. And even though we were delayed about an hour on the Monday, TechWave did a good job of getting all the data in there. I'm very happy with that. So hopefully we'll continue to run about 80% and get the majority of the community all taken care of. Cool. Yes. Wonderful.
Party on.
Party on. Yeah.
Any other supervisor requests or comments?
No.
It is 12:27 PM. Is
We
there a
made
motion to adjourn?
So, yeah, Cheryl, I'll second it.
All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
All right, meeting adjourned 12:27 PM. Thank you, everybody.